Okay, so I'm going to show you how to document tobacco cessation into a chart that has already been closed. We are going to use the new telephone encounter to log in and document said items. Now we need to do some research. We suspect that the patient has come in and has had a tobacco screening. However, we're not quite sure. To ensure that we're documenting the correct items, what we want to do is go to Patient Docs, and we want to search the patient documents for screenings. The first place I suggest looking is number 25, which is going to be patient documents. And as we're looking here, if we click on tobacco screening, we see that the tobacco screening was done on 10/30 of 2020 at 9:30 a.m. It's been signed by a provider. We know for sure that it's been done. So let's look and see if the patient had an appointment on that day. Going to go to progress notes, and we're going to use the drop down to see if there's been an actual appointment. And it looks like the patient came in on 10:30 for coughing. There's no document in the system saying that the tobacco screening was done. However, we have located the screening inside the chart. So now we're going to go ahead and go back to our hub and go into new telephone encounters. This is going to be where we actually record our telephone encounter. Okay, so now we're inside of the actual telephone encounter. This is where we're going to actually document a historical data form. In this particular instance, we're going to do a historical data for a tobacco screening. The first thing we want to do is go over to Reason and mark historical data. Next, we want to go to date and time, and we do know that our last appointment was scheduled on October 30th, 2020 at 9:30. So we're going to change the date to October 30th, and we're going to move the time down from 8 to 9. Okay, so this reflects what the actual appointment was, which is October 30th, 9:30 a.m. Click up here. Okay, and now that date and time is saved. You want to make sure that your provider matches the actual provider who saw the patient. Your facility should be the actual facility the patient was seen in for that appointment. Now this is where we go to actually log the virtual visit. Now that the top of the screen has been completed, it reflects everything that is mirroring the appointment that we were looking at. We're going to go to virtual visit. Virtual visit is going to actually bring up your telephone encounter. Okay, this is what it looks like. For this particular task, we're going to go into the HPI, go to the letter S, and today we're going to work on tobacco use because we're wanting the smart form for a tobacco. Now, if I block these out, this is probably what you see when you go into the patient's chart. This will let you know that the patient has never had a tobacco screening, at which point you're going to click on details and it brings up your smart form. If the patient is a non-smoker, you're going to mark non-smoker. Make sure everything is relevant to what it is that you're trying to document. Let's say hypothetically this person is a non-smoker because they have COPD and that's not going to be healthy for them. So we have non-smoker for medical reasons. Once we've completed that task, we're going to click on Save. And at the very top of your screen, you're going to get a little box that asks the data. It's going to tell you the data form was saved. and you click close. Okay. Then you go to the next bar. And it wants to know, are you a tobacco user? If you go into value, you can click no, click OK, and it'll save this to your actual chart, your patient chart, and it'll save it to the day. Click on social history verified, and you can go ahead and close out. Okay, now that we've closed out of the chart, we're going to go ahead and use the slider bar to make sure that the information we're trying to document is in there. We have who the call was taken by, historical data, which is what we really want to make sure, the date and time of the appointment that we're using, and we get to the bottom and it has under tobacco use that this person is a non-smoker. This is going to show up in the UDS and make the person compliant. Once you see that this information is documented in the chart, you can go ahead and mark addressed and OK. Okay, so you have actually completed the telephone encounter. Let's go back and check and make sure that it is still in the system and it is in there the right way. So we know that the appointment was on 10/30 of 2020. We're going to locate it, and here it is because we locked it. Okay, and we have our name, and we have the tobacco use information here in the bottom left-hand corner. Now, to ensure that it's actually captured in the chart, you can click on History and scroll down to Social History, and you will notice that it is actually recorded right here at the bottom that the client is a non-smoker. This will pull the person out of the non-compliant bucket and put them in the compliant bucket where your UDS is concerned.